One. Hello, hello.
Hello, happy Sunday shift. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. It's a Sunday, we're doing our thing. We're both like kind of in flux. Like I am traveling all next week. Tanya is like between church services. So I'm so glad we were able to connect and do this because I have so much to say. And I was like, oh no. I was gonna have to write a blog post about this week.
Oh man,
Record. How was your week?
that's my week. Um, okay, secret and a secret that's just for everybody that's listening, the
Okay.
100 or so people that are listening. But I'm learning how to
Hey, don't do
drive.
us. 500 or so people who listen,
500
listen.
or so, 500 or so people. I'm learning how to drive. I don't have my
Okay.
license, y'all. I don't drive at all. I ride, walk, catch the bus, blah, blah, blah. And this year I decided to learn how to drive. And I had my second driving lesson, my first one being way back in November. So
Hmm.
I had not been in a car and drove in a car for almost a year. And I had my second lesson on Friday, and
Oh my goodness.
it went really well. I rode from one city to the next at night
What
in
cities did you
this.
ride from and
So
to?
from so those who aren't familiar with the Bay Area, Alameda is kind of a little bit
Oh,
runs
the island.
alongside of oh yeah, it's an island that runs alongside the length of Oakland. And so I went from my place to Alameda, the top of Alameda, and then drove back to my place, which is borderline San Leandro. So rode through Alameda
Oh,
from
you was real riding.
High Street to Foothill, from Foothill to Bancroft to San Leandro and back up to my place. Dangerous streets right now for drivers because folks are driving hecka crazy in the Bay Area now. So I was really, nervous to do it, but I did it, and my driver instructor was like, I have no notes for you. You could actually take the test and pass it." I was like,
That's exciting.
it's so exciting. So my test is actually in October 17th. I have still two more lessons that I pay for. And then yeah,
You're gonna be a licensed driver.
I'm gonna be a driver, y'all. It's gonna be crazy.
That's amazing.
Um,
I'm so happy
yeah.
for you. Um, I try not to drive as much as I possibly can.
Uh-huh.
But when I'm back in Milwaukee, I do have to drive. Also, you said something that sprung something for me. I was talking about people who like just listen to us on audio, not even like the people who listen to us on YouTube. So we
Okay.
appreciate all of our listeners. But if
Yeah.
you only listen on audio, but you have YouTube, go like and subscribe for us just so we can get them numbers up. But we appreciate
Yeah.
you all.
Yes, everyone.
Yeah. This week I'm about to be on the road traveling during the week, which is fine, so it won't interrupt our recording. But my birthday's coming up. I had to get my hair rebraided because Libra season's coming up. You got to be beautiful for Libra season.
Yeah, you look
Um,
amazing.
thank you.
You look
I really,
amazing.
I really have on the bummiest house dress you ever want to see in your life. So you can't see that like while we're recording. The lighting is actually making me look like I'm dressed up, or not dressed-ish. But this is,
The
I've had this dress
lighting,
forever.
the dress, the
Yeah,
earrings, the subtle makeup. You just look great.
no makeup, no makeup. It just
Oh,
it's straight up the lighting. It's
just the
literally the lighting.
lip gloss?
Lip gloss. Hmm.
Awesome.
These are the Zoom trips tricks that you do, but I moved into a different room, and so the sun comes in a different way. So everything hits, got to
Hmm.
get some angles. But yeah, I did that, and then I'm learning to latch again
Hook.
because I want to go back to actually crocheting, but I'm trying to practice with the hook first. So I'm making a strawberry pillow. Yeah, so
We're gonna
once
be
that's
gonna be
done, you'll
craft
see.
buddies.
There you go. So you'll see that. But yeah, I'm going to like Spokane, Washington next week. So if y'all know anything about Spokane, put it in the comments because I don't know anything about that place. Um, so send me all the love. And then I went to IKEA for the first time. Shocking, right? I've never been to
Hmm.
IKEA before. But I took off of work on Friday with a friend and we went to IKEA. It was amazing. Like we walked the
Yeah.
whole thing like twice. We got all our
Hmm.
steps in, just like chatting. And then I bought like this new laptop stand, so I could like have like some diversity from my desk. Because I
Hmm.
use my desk when we record and if I'm like presenting for work, but my laptop stand is in the other room, and that's why I have the different light. So that's
First,
been my week.
first, yes, please practice your latch hooking. And then I am actually thinking of hosting a craft evening where we're going to make our Christmas gift, make a Christmas gift craft evening at my place where we can just, craft and drink wine and eat finger foods and craft.
Okay. Little
So in the
crudite.
fall.
I will be there.
Yes, I'm
I will
excited.
be there. Um, okay. Well, I know you got you got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. Let's talk about GH this week. Who were
Okay.
your performers of the week?
Oh, oh, ah, ugh. Um, well, well, just
Uh,
I mean, I just have to give it up to the ensemble, I guess, again. Shout
yeah.
out to well, first of all, shout out to our newcomer. And I don't have a newcomer who's playing
Oh,
Charlotte.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And let me look up her name.
Her last name is
First of
Burt
all,
because she's related to Billy Burt.
oh, that's right, Billy Bird.
Yeah,
And she does look like a lot like him.
yeah.
Um,
I like her.
it was yeah. I was shocked
Bluesy.
to see somebody new.
Yeah, her name's
But
Bluesy Burt.
Bluesy Bird. Oh, that's cute.
Hmm.
Saw that. I was shocked to see somebody new, but it was good because she actually played it very well, having kind of a similar attitude about her dad. And a lot of people noticed that she didn't call her dad Papa. Um, and I just, knowing, I think Scarlett is actually really involved in volleyball, and so, probably doing a lot with that and not able to come back to GH. But shout out to our new person. Also shout out to seeing JPS playing
Mustached.
mustached, playing Valentine um in jail. So
Hmm.
also great to see him. I guess I would have to say, and then Britt has been back for a while, but I actually enjoyed her performance waltzing into the hospital, all attitude, all Britch, which is different because before she was playing kind of like I've been, changed. I'm a softer Brit and all that, but she came in with pettiness and sass, and so I actually enjoyed seeing that. Um, and Anna did some great scenes. Laura Wright did some great scenes. So yeah, but nothing really, really like stood out. Like, oh my God, I love this, scene this week. Nothing
Yeah.
like that. All of it was good. All of
Kathleen
it was
Gaddy
good.
stood out for me this week. Her like shock
Okay,
to see Brit on it was a Friday.
very
Her like
theatrical.
yeah, her grief, all of that. Um I thought it was good. I liked it
Yeah.
like especially the beginning, like you could actually tell the emotion there.
Hmm.
Um yeah, so I think for me this week, Kathleen Gaddy was the standout of like a cast that really has been giving great performances.
Yeah. It's been all good this week, but it's like it's not just falling on one person. It's like everybody's been doing some really great work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into the PCPD continuing their investigation into who shot Drew. So Anna asked both Dante and Chase if, they'll be okay, like if they can need to recuse themselves. And we find out that Mac is taking over the like well, I have it written down. Why can't I remember my words? Ugh.
Hmm.
Mac is taking over the investigation for the judge for Judge Karen's murder, and Anna is taking over this investigation. for Drew. Now I understand this in a drama perspective, but in no way can you tell me this makes sense. Mac has the least amount Mac and whoever is helping Mac has the least amount of like conflicts of interest for like the Drew case. So the fact that it's like
Right.
Anna, Chase, and Dante who have like relationship Dante and Chase specifically who have all these relationships with the suspects is wild.
Yeah, I mean,
So
even though Anna hasn't really said very much about it, um, Drew is a catalyst for Home Dude wanting Anna to lose her job. The city council person who threatened
yeah,
her that he was going to fire her if he became mayor. So, I mean, Anna is like, whatever, just no skin off my shoulders, but still, everybody has conflict of interest with Drew. Everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
The least amount is Mac. And also,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a congressperson almost assassinated in his home is probably not something that the local police is trying to solve. Like that seems like the feds are coming in, but it's a soap. We're
Right.
gonna let it go. We're gonna let it all go for the plot, for the drama, because they have been giving it to us. Um, so Drew wakes up still evil. Were you surprised? How did you feel about that?
I was hoping that this would lead to some sort of redemption arc for him. Given that obviously the show has no plans on letting Cameron Matheson go. But I'm also not necessarily like, oh my God, I'm so offended and shocked because um, it just seems like even though they do want to keep him on. The shooting doesn't really solve anything. So apparently they want to keep the drama going. So I'm not like all hurt and disappointed by it, but I'm also like not necessarily surprised. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing that I have going on with Cameron Matheson right now. Like, because I'm totally enjoying his performance being evil.
Hmm.
And so it's like I don't want to necessarily I do think it's great to see, but at the same time, I am also a little fatigued by the story of Drew being evil all the time. I want to see some sort of change, some sort of conclusion about it. So yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I guess that's the way I describe it. I have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was one of the people who thought he was gonna wake up
Mhm.
and like either have like amnesia like a la Esme, but I do think that they learned from that.
Uh-huh.
Or that he would like be changed. So I'm not necessarily disappointed. It's not necessarily what I wanted to happen, but that's what I thought was gonna happen. Because to your point, I'm like, oh well, it seems like Cameron Matheson's gonna be here. So how are they gonna
Hmm.
do it? Now I have like thoroughly enjoyed Evil Drew. I think that Cameron Matheson is like sticking his teeth into this character, and I know people feel a way. I
Hmm.
liked what Billy Miller did for Drew or as Drew, so I had to like divorce myself from that to like allow
Hmm.
myself to be embraced or immersed in what Cameron's doing with this character. Um, and then I'm also not sure if I think he's Drew. Like it's so weird. I think that like continuing to wake up and asking for
Yeah.
Willow with no concern for Scout. Like he asked for Willow like 10 times, even though like Elizabeth had to be like, yeah, and Scout. And then when he find out that Scout left from Carly, like left camp, it was like, really? And then okay, never. So it's usually like even when you have these kind of like villainish characters, they do still have like some care for their kids.
Hmm.
Like there is, especially their younger kids. It's not, you don't get
Hmm.
that drama until they're older. And
Hmm.
this is like pure selfishness. Even Scout herself is saying that her dad's not doing the best for her. I don't know. There's something weird there. This is the guy who, when we first came on, he was etching Scout's name in the wall to like keep himself grounded and sane, to now
Hmm.
not caring about her emotional well-being or asking when he can see her, when she can come to the hospital, when he's going to be well enough, just being like, she could be with Willow and that's it.
Right. That is weird. Like there's like no internal parental,
Yeah.
behavior where he's like, I need to make sure that Scout knows that I am okay. Even if he's not worried about her, he should be worried about how she's feeling and wanting to reassure her, and he's not doing that.
Right.
He's
Right.
like, there's no internal instinct, parental instinct in him whatsoever when it comes to Scout, except to maneuver her in a way that benefits him.
Yeah.
Just weird.
And it's also one of those things like not concerned for her safety either. So
Yeah.
unless he knows who shot him, which that would like maybe make this case that it's Willow, unless he
Yeah.
knows who shot him, he doesn't know like what kind of danger he's in. He doesn't know what kind of danger his family's in. And Scout is like
Right.
his only real family. And so not
Yeah.
even being concerned about where she is, who she's with, all of that is just bizarre. I mean, I guess the assumption is if Willow's at work and Scout's with like this like nanny that does everything for her. Um,
But
but
even if he just like secretly knows that it's Willow, then why would you want your child to be with someone who shot you?
true.
Right? It's like crazy.
And
There is something
yeah,
really to the idea of it not actually being true. Because if it
it's
was
just
that,
sinister.
yeah, if it was that, who was the cult guy's name again?
Shiloh.
Shiloh. Shiloh, that is actual typical Shiloh behavior. Because I feel like Shiloh would treat his offspring, even his offspring, as just a tool, you know?
Well, and like, what sort of Scout wouldn't be his offspring? You know what I mean? It's
Oh, that's
bizarre. It's
true.
even it's
Yeah.
even with Willow and like I we never got a sense that Willow and Scout were close. They tried to do
Mhm.
the thing at the very last minute when they were getting married, being like, should I call you mom? Or like they'd be like, Willow love or Scout loves Willow. But we also heard that Wiley and Amelia love Drew, and we see that that's not true because that's why Drew or Wiley was on the tier list. Like, so we actually have never gotten a sense that they were close. So it also is still like your daughter has lost her mom, is scared about you being in the hospital, doesn't know what happened. And even if you are saying she's staying with Willow, Willow's at the hospital, so she's still not even with her. She's with the
Right.
nanny or whoever else. I don't know. That's a belabor the point. We'd love to hear from y'all in the comments if y'all think so, but I just think it's weird. I would not be surprised if it's not Drew. But either way, I think Cameron, as much as people have like mixed feelings about Drew, is really delivering a great performance. And he's like the person that gets us talking. You can be mad at Drew, you
Hmm.
can be want him to you can want him to go, but the point of this for me is to have people who I root for and root against, and I'm definitely
Hmm.
rooting against him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you feel about him like saying he's gonna point the finger at Michael and Willow being okay with it? She's just like, yeah, if I get my kids back.
I know. That is just crazy to me. And, she's like totally leaning in to just being evil for the sake of evil, or she's disassociating in some sort of way. I don't
Hmm.
know. But the fact that she's willing to go there that deep is because she's not also not thinking of her children either. She's just thinking of herself. How would, like, if she really loved her kids, how would she want to do something that would hurt them? They love their dad. Having their
Yes.
dad be in jail is for the rest of his life, never seeing him again, except for maybe in prison visits, which I know any good parent would not want to have, is crazy. So she's not thinking about the kids. She's just thinking about herself. She's totally down bad. She's almost like, I kind of feel like her behavior is leaning into the whole Nell behavior. And
Mm.
I don't think Nell wouldn't even want that. Nell does not. Nell always had, I think she's had really crazy obsessive feelings about Michael and wanted to raise her kids, but I don't think she ever wanted to see Michael in jail. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
she did try to kill him, so that's
Oh,
not
that's right. Okay, maybe just, but
like
I'm just saying she's definitely leaning into the Nell behavior a lot. And so it's just wild.
yeah. It's also leaning into the Nina behavior of, and I
Oh
will
yeah.
say that all around, Port Charles has had some bad parents, and it's been on like a spectrum this week for me. Drew, Willow, and Lulu, to be quite
Hmm.
honest, of
Yeah.
like bad
Lulu.
parenting this week. And so
Yeah.
for me, I there's like parts of me that can empathize with like you want your kids. If you are a mother, you love your kids, you want your kids. I try to remember that like she almost died having Amelia. So there is something there to having like something about feeling something for her wanting her kids back. The
Hmm.
problem is that everything that she's done afterwards. I
Hmm.
will say that Willow, has become a much more interesting character now that we know she hates Drew. What was hard for me to watch for her was this like following him around like a puppy dog. Ooh, I'm so in love with him. Like he can do no wrong type of a devotion she had for him.
Hmm.
I much prefer seeing her like I effed up royally and I have put myself so behind in getting my kids back. I'm gonna use him to do that. That is to me a much more interesting Willow and somebody I'm more interested in watching than watching her like walk around with like wide-eyed delusion. Um,
But I still think it's a little bit of a delusion to think that he can actually get her kids back.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But it's like
So,
delusion with like all of the information.
right.
Because we also thought there was like, or I think I thought, I don't know if we talked about this, but it was like, okay, when she finds out this, and that, she's gonna leave. It's gonna be so bad, whatever. And it's like she knows everything now, and she's like, okay, well, that just means that he's just crazy enough to be able to give me my kids
My
back. He's
kids.
just
Yeah.
trifling enough, which is wild because he everything he's done has been the thing that like separated y'all
Yeah. So that's why I'm just like, that's still delusion on her part, but
for sure.
she's leaning into the evil. She's leaning into the lack of morals and lack of actual care for her kids in order to get what she wants.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
but
But
she's
that
never
is
been more
very,
interesting.
very, like you said, it's very interesting to watch. So,
And it's very Nina. She's acting like her
mhm.
mama. And
Yeah.
so the fact that I don't care for Nina. I don't care about any of that. But I think the story of I hate my mom is so old and so overdone and so annoying when it comes to Nina and Willow.
Hmm.
And so I felt like for Willow, it should be like, I know that I would do anything for my children. I know I would do anything if I'm doing all this stuff to baby Daisy. I'm willing to like let Michael get framed for taking drugs. I'm willing for me to let him get framed for attempted murder. I now should understand why my mom was willing to do anything for me. And so while I
Hmm.
don't necessarily like her or care for her or I'm mad at her, I understand her better. And I think that would be a more interesting story to tell. But you know, we
Yeah,
will
she
see.
hasn't. Well, I guess, Willow doesn't have time to think about that kind of reunion right now because right now she's really worried about her kids and getting her kids back and
Yeah.
um, maintaining her relationship with Drew and not being a suspect for murder. So she ain't got time. She's still,
Hmm.
but yeah, to really be like, okay, I gotta, start thinking about my mom now. But unless it gets more desperate, like if something really happens for her to get her eye open about Drew and the fact that he really can't get her kids back, she's gonna look for another savior, and it may actually have to be her mom.
Now, do you think that um Brooklyn is gonna like do you think that like Chase and Willow is gonna cause any like conflict between Chase and Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, I don't know because well, so when Drew confronted Chase in the hospital and was like, how would Brooklyn feel about it?
Hmm.
Chase was like, go ahead and call her. And I think
Right.
at that point, if Drew did call Brooklyn, Brooklyn would be like, yeah, so what? I do agree, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if they're trying to hint that down the line something's gonna happen to break up Brooklyn and Chase, but at this point right now, I think they're on one accord on how they feel about what to do about Willow.
Okay.
I think though now it's a little bit different because now does Brooklyn know now why Michael doesn't want Willow to see his kids,
No,
or he didn't tell her yet?
he didn't tell
So,
her.
but I think once she does find out, I think she'll find out before Chase. And when she confronts Chase about it, I think Chase will still be loyal to Willow. And I think that might actually start um, breaking
Mm,
things between them. But
yeah,
for now, I think they both believe that Willow should be able to have time with the kids because they think that might change her behavior, but it won't.
yeah. It's so weird because it is like everybody's like, oh, she'll get her kids back and they will make things better for her, as opposed to you should actually be like a stable person in order to create stability for your
Yeah,
kids. And
that's weird.
so
It's
yeah,
weird that
Liz
all
is like
that like
allowing her.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, go
Liz,
ahead.
yeah, it's like it's weird that these people who are kind of in the middle feel that Willow will change when she gets her kids back because no, she's not going to. She's acting crazy and she's going to continue to act crazy with those kids. Um, and so it's crazy that so many people feel that's the solution that Michael should let Willow see her kids, but they don't know how far off she is. But Liz does. Liz knows how far
Yes,
off she is, and she's still of that same mind. It's weird.
Has frustrated. I mean, frustrated me about a lot of things, but the Willow thing specifically,
Yeah.
Liz is the head nurse. You shouldn't even be letting Willow see patients. She is
Yeah.
unstable, and you know that. You are putting
Mm-hmm.
people in danger as the head nurse to like play around with her. And you could mandate or at least like heavily like say you need like therapy. And that would look good. I don't understand why this keeps be like, oh, you can be a good employee and that'll look good for you. And no, it does not look good for you at court. Go to therapy. That would look good for you at court.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that is also what you should need to do in order to like whatever, like see patients to like get cleared after you've had like two major psychotic episodes. And
Mm-hmm.
Liz hasn't made her do that.
Mm-hmm. Not
Epiphany
only
would never.
yeah, two psychotic episodes and assaulting a fellow employee and the job. So that alone should prompt Liz to be like, you need to go and see somebody before you can come back to work because you're hitting
Yeah,
doctors.
you could be on desk duty or whatever it
Right.
is, but
Yeah.
your main whatever is your patience, and you have not shown that. That
Yeah.
is, one of the many reasons about how I feel about Liz. um, so we have, oh, but also before we leave Willow, Brick has put in the safe something to prove quotes that Drew was the person who bribed Judge Heron.
That is crazy to me because all the while I'm worried about the evidence for Portia being missing and wanting to make sure that, Trina and Kai are safe from that. All the while, more incriminating evidence towards Drew is in the safe. So it's like
Hmm.
really wow. That's like really intriguing to me. That's like bravo to Sunny for thinking about doing that. Because that's gonna be fun to watch him be like, what?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
yeah, little do you know, Drew,
because
you
it's
do
gonna
not
make it look
want to
like
know. Yeah, you
Judge Heron like went against Willow because of
uh,
the bribing.
or I was just thinking that oh yeah, because of the timing of the donation. Yeah, it would look like that Drew was bribing the judge to make a decision for Willow, and
Right,
instead the judge decided to do the right thing and take his money. And that
right.
would give a motive for Drew to want to kill
The
the
judge.
judge.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I think it's amazing. I love it. I
It's
can't wait to have
brilliant.
see him have egg on his face. And he doesn't know the Portia evidence is gone. And so
Yeah,
he told Dante he does not give them permission to like check his safe. So when it is
right.
found, it makes it look extra guilty because they're gonna
Yeah.
think that they
He was
couldn't
trying
check
to
it because
hide
he knew that.
evidence.
Right. Yeah. Mm. We
So
love
it's gonna
that.
be even, so that's gonna actually it's gonna be even better because it may end up being that Drew going to jail and we get to see that.
We
So
love that.
it's yes.
Um, yeah. Or it might not get found out. It might just be like mutually assured destruction type evidence. But we don't know for sure if Willow is going to believe that Drew didn't do this.
Right.
She might assume the worst of him. You know what I mean? That
I
he
hope
did pay off the
yeah.
judge.
I hope so. And I
Yeah.
hope that actually is the final nail in the coffin of Willow and Drew getting back together. I don't
It
care
won't be.
what
She's so
happens.
stupid.
I don't care what happens as long as she and Michael don't get back together.
Oh no. And I was gonna also say this thing about Chase, and then we can move on about this. Like, I think that so first of all, I think that Chase and Brooklyn are pretty solid, just for
Yeah.
lots of reasons, even real world reasons of like the way those
Yeah.
actors like choose to
Yeah.
be in community and interacting with their fellow actors and with their fellow scene partners. So I think that they're going to stick together because it just makes sense. So I do think this might be drama. I think it might be an emotional affair, something like that with Chase and Willow, but I don't think they're going to put them back together because if Chase finds out that he basically messed up or had a setback in his relationship with Brooklyn while Willow has been doing the Willow things that she's been doing, he's going to be mad at her. So that I think
Hmm.
is like the kind of arc of the story if they do anything to chill in. That it'll
Yeah.
be that Chase will find out that Willow has been actually pretty foul and mad that,
Hmm.
he whatever. So that's what I think there. But I also think it's funny that Willow now like doesn't have they did this thing with Rick, and so now Willow doesn't have a lawyer. She wants somebody else do it pro bono. Why would you think somebody else would do it pro bono?
Well, the fact that she believed that Rick is doing it pro bono is crazy.
Silly
Uh,
anyway, right?
so yeah, that's probably why she thought she's like, well, if Rick would do it, why wouldn't somebody else?
Martin, who
Yeah.
is broke, would do it pro bono. Come on, what
No,
are we talking about?
Martin wouldn't do it.
No, just silliness.
Hmm.
Okay, other things about like, who shot Drew. Why is the PCPD acting like literally telling people that getting lawyers makes them look guilty? That's wild.
I think that's kind of nefarious bully behavior that police be doing now. That's how they get confessions out of people.
True. It is
Because I
very
think
real world, but
very real world, but it is wild. But yeah.
I
And
want to
that's
clap.
why it
Like, I
was
mean,
funny. That's why it was funny. It was like Curtis was like, I know what y'all trying to do. And nah, I'm getting a lawyer.
well, Curtis can't say this because of his like emotional affair he's having with Jordan, but what
Right.
he should have said was, "Y'all tried to railroad my daughter,
Hmm.
who came in here without a lawyer. I would never come up in the PCPD without a lawyer again."
Right.
Trina was fully innocent on trial for something that everybody said she didn't do because she didn't have no lawyer, and she came in here and gave a statement. So
Yeah,
why would we do that?
exactly. And as a
But
black man, I don't trust y'all.
come on. I mean, Curtis would also never say that. But um, I, Alexis, and her alibi, Diane was looking at her like, girl, what? But I didn't like that Diane chose to represent Alexis, meaning that she couldn't represent Michael. I get why we had the scene. I understand like the drama
Yeah.
of it and doing it for the plot, but I
Yeah.
didn't like that. I felt like if you Diane knew who was all going to be suspects. Do
Yeah.
not have do not tell Michael and have one of your biggest clients being represented by somebody who has beef with his daddy.
Right.
Diane knows
That's
all of this.
yes. All of it. And surprisingly, Marco did a good job, but it still was a horrible look. It was a horrible look
But it was like
for
he did a good
Diet.
job to like as a cover up. Because even when
Yeah,
Michael was getting questioned and they said something about Judge Harry, you could see Marco with a guilty look. Now I was
right.
wondering because we haven't gotten fallout from how Martin feels, or not Martin, sorry, Marco feels about this because
Yeah,
Marco has not been in this part of the business.
yeah,
Now you are in the part of the business where like judges are getting murdered.
right. And I thought it was interesting also that even though Marco did an okay job, Michael still didn't trust him
Right.
because Marco was like, "Oh, I can go with you to interview," and Michael was like, "No, no, no, I got it." Like, no.
No. Mm-mm.
So Michael's like, "Yeah, sure, you can be here for this little thing, but everything else, nah."
Everything else. Mm-mm. Truth be told, Michael could have kind of represented himself or been like, I'm gonna call a Quartermain lawyer, actually.
Right. Exactly. He can afford another lawyer. He don't need Diane or, the little
Quartermain's got
home
hella
shop.
lawyers on Britannia because you remember when Jagger came at Danny and
Yeah.
Brooklyn was like, Don't you ever talk to nobody
Right.
without a lawyer again. We got 20 lawyers on Retainer for you playing like this. So I did really love that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What else do I have here? We have so Curtis does not have an alibi.
Nope.
Oh, Curtis. How could you not shore up an alibi before you went in there? Ridiculous.
Ah,
And Dante does not believe Michael's alibi, which is he was with a sex worker, aka Jacinda Bracken. I remember this name now. Um,
yeah.
Now, what I don't want is them putting Michael and Jacinda together. We've actually already had a Michael sex worker story with Michael and Abby.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, people liked Michael and Abby. I was never a fan, not because it's a sex worker. I don't care about that. I just didn't particularly care for it. Um, and yeah, don't be using or like wasting Michael's chemistry on somebody like that we don't know. Breaks out your back.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned because it also seems like too simple of a alibi to like it doesn't seem like a smart alibi to make for himself that Michael did. So it makes me wonder why he did that. And part of me was like, oh, well, maybe he actually did see Willow and want to protect Willow. But then why
Mm,
would you want to put yourself at risk when you got two kids? So I'm
right.
just like, I don't know what to make of that because it just doesn't seem like a very sophisticated um behavior for Michael in terms of trying to find an alibi. Because
Hmm.
obviously, I mean, Dante saw right through it. Maybe he doesn't care if the police sees through it as long as it looks legal enough for him to squeak by and not be seen as a
Right.
suspect. Or maybe he's just trying to divert their attention away from something else. I don't know, but it doesn't seem very sophisticated. But we'll see what's going
Yeah,
to
we'll
happen with that.
see. I mean, I would not be surprised if Michael, like, if the thing was like he went to Drew's house,
Uh-huh.
heard the gunshots and left, or saw Drew on the ground and left,
Uh,
or whatever. Like, I don't think Michael did it, but I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised if he like either knew who did it or knew it happened and he can't
Yeah.
account for his whereabouts.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, I was just like, it doesn't seem like I don't know why I'm being critical because at the same time, that's exactly what Sonny would do. He would find himself with some woman and use that woman as his alibi. The same thing he did with Carly when it came to that FBI agent who he
Well,
shot and was like,
or
I was just
Michael
with Carly.
in Tracy's room. Yeah,
You know,
I also felt like maybe Michael could have called Brick. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I do appreciate what something I like about what they're doing with Rory's Michael, because obviously I like Chad. I like Chad's Michael. I thought Chad did really
yeah,
important work as Michael, but I think that we have to be honest that Chad did not get the writing that Rory is getting.
Oh, he's not.
Chad, Chad Michael, and even in some cases Jocelyn, like they were used as like parts of their parent stories. And I
Hmm.
think that what we're seeing with Rory's Michael is that he is able to drive story on his own. He is
Hmm.
in scenes by himself without them. He gets calls from them, and then that activates them or
Hmm.
activates him, as opposed to like they are doing everything and letting him know.
Hmm.
So that I think is another reason, aside from, I saw the picture, I took a screenshot of him smoldering in the rain. I get it. I get it,
I get it. Yeah, that was like, oh.
He's very handsome.
Yeah.
Uh, but I also think that like he is getting this writing that has allowed the Michael character to be so much more like dynamic and interesting, and
Hmm.
that in ways that I appreciate. So I just wanted to like say, we see you, Rory. We see what you're doing.
We do. We see it.
We see it and we like it. Um, I also think Elizabeth and this like finger pointing at Carly. When Elizabeth was talking to Lucas, it was like, well, we know what Carly does to whatever. I'm trying to understand, who does Liz think that Carly has murdered?
I don't know if so. My take is that I don't think Liz actually believes that Carly's the one that shot Drew, but I think what she's doing is saying that, well, like she's being a little petty in the sense that, well, if the police ask me, I have to tell them. I mean,
But
like,
she
no, you
doesn't.
don't. You really don't. And you're just doing it because you don't like Carly. But I don't think she actually believes that Carly shot Drew. I think she's
But
just being petty.
but they've had a better relationship
Yeah.
lately. Even when Lucas was saying, because she was like, well, Carly, said this, and Lucas said, when he heard that Carly threatened Drew, he was like, oh, well,
Yeah. That's just what
she'll be
she
doing that.
does.
She'll be doing
Right.
that. She was like,
Yeah.
if everybody who Carly threatened to kill, like ended up
Well,
dead, the only people that will be here, and he said, are her grandchildren and you, Elizabeth. So like this is like us remembering that Carly and Elizabeth have like buried a lot of the hatchet. So it does
uh-huh.
not matter. Like you could easily. Here's my thing with Elizabeth. Girl, you are boring when you want to be. You will hold a girl in a tower. You will lie for Christina for Lucky. You will do all of these things. So to pretend like you're some sort of like, oh my God, if the police call me, I have to say something. No, you don't. Only reason you turned yourself in for Esme is because Esme jumped.
Mhm.
When you
Yeah,
was just
I
keeping her in a tower, you did not have that kind of guilt. So you
yeah.
actually, Drew, you could say, oh, I don't recall. I didn't
Mhm.
hear what she said. I knew that it was heated, but I didn't hear what she said.
Right. Like everybody else in Port Charles is doing. No, I have never appreciated or never liked that Liz always feels like she's better than Carly because she's not.
No, she's more self-righteous.
Right. She's definitely more self-righteous, but she's not better than Carly.
No. But this is also like the stuff that like bothers me with Elizabeth, even with
Hmm.
the and I know Tara from Port Misery, who obviously y'all know we love. She and I
Hmm.
were talking about this thing around like her being even obsessed with helping Willow. Liz, this has never happened to her. Liz got a bunch of deadbeat baby daddies. Jason, we looking at you, which we'll get to. But she got a bunch of deadbeat baby daddies. Nobody's ever tried to take Liz's kids away from her. Even when Liz
Hmm.
had to go to Shady Brook, they was like, your kids will be back here waiting on you. People have not tried to do that to Liz. So for her to have
Right.
all of this sympathy for Willow, like when she's never been in this position and she does not know what it feels like to have that happen to her, is
Hmm.
wild, particularly when she's known Michael his entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of it. Um, Elizabeth Costello. Um, yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about Black Hospital before we get into Brit's return. So Drew does not know that Kai knows that he's a bad guy. So Trina's like freaking out, and Kai's like, she's like, "What if Drew hurt us?" So Kai's like, "I'm gonna go check in on Drew." Obviously, like we alluded to, Drew asked Kai to go check his safe, which Kai was like, "No, it's a crime scene."
I was like, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm like,
No,
it's against the law. It's a crime scene. I can't do
what do you
it.
mean? It's illegal, Drew. Get it together. Um, and so I found that to be really funny.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to talk about this Trina Emma conversation.
That was, well, first of all,
Hmm.
I see what they were trying to do. Like they're trying to have Trina have a friend that she can download to, but I was like, why is she telling everything to this girl that she barely knows?
The
Telling everything about,
commissioner's
yeah,
granddaughter
daughter, exactly. Telling all the ways that what her mom did was illegal. That
and
was wild
unethical.
to me. Unethical. That was wild. I'm like,
So here's the thing. My feelings about the character of Trina have nothing to do with how I feel about the actress. I'm
right.
always rooting for young black actresses. I'm always rooting for everybody black, if we be keeping
Mhm.
it a buck. Because y'all have heard me come up here and go up for Portia. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want anybody to clip this and be like, Tracy, I like Trina. But I do not like the way Trina is being written. And at some point we gotta have the conversation about like because everything is written, right? So like we could say, oh, the writers are doing this, the writers are doing that. Every character is written. So the writers are doing it to everyone. And the way Trina has been written and the character that Trina has portrayed is not something I'm not interested. And it is not consistent with what we know of her. Her falling apart at the like when the gunshots rang out and not knowing what to do and having to follow Kai's lead. Her like trashing Portia to Emma in favor of Curtis was crazy. I grew up very close to my father, but he was also my dad. You just met Curtis. So I'm very sympathetic to daddy's girls, but I'm not sympathetic to Trina being a daddy's girl for Curtis. It
Yeah,
was
that's the wrong daddy to be daddy's girl for. She should
no.
have she should have loyalty to her real father who
Particularly because we've always heard that she was extremely close to Taggart. That was
yes.
one of her character traits. So to have her like not only not ever mention Taggart, but to like then essentially be like, well, Portia should have never, like, my mom should have never lied and she did something illegal and unethical. I get it. I think it's unfortunate, and I think that we have to like call the question on why Trina is being written this way. I know, and I've always been annoyed at people who hated the Trina Joss friendship. I feel like Trina has always been able to like shine as a character, as a person within that friendship. It's never diminished her within that friendship. She had to be diminished for Kai, for this relationship with Kai because Trina's actually the take charge person who knows how to run the scheme and run the like
Hmm.
whatever. Whether she's right or wrong, she is the person who takes charge. She couldn't because of Kai, and then she actually knows better than to like spill everything to the commissioner's daughter. But in order to like make to like beef up the fact that she has this friendship with Emma now, like we had to have her just stupid. You're telling me that you just saw that you couldn't trust Kai, your boyfriend, who said he loved you when came into your house and overheard something, but you're trusting the commissioner's daughter, who your best friend has always seen as an op? That's wild. And then to like belittle Portia when it was so like they even had Emma be like, I get why your mom did that. So this is all about building Emma's character on the
Yeah,
back of making Trina sound wild.
that's what I was gonna say. That whole conversation wasn't in service to Trina, it was in service to Emma and making Emma seem like the sympathetic friend and that's able to give good advice to another young person on the set. Um, it's just crazy. It should have been the other way around, honestly, because Trina has been there. It would have been. I think like Emma could have come to her and be like, yeah, so I have this situation. What do you think I should do? But no.
Right. Even if it was like her
Yeah.
being like, my mom did some, like my parents are having issues, my mom did something, it's really
Yeah.
frustrating, blah, 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 blah. But
Right.
like to be like, my mom did this illegal thing, it was Heather Webb, like that was
Hmm.
crazy
And then,
behavior.
and it wasn't even like aloof about this illegal thing. She was like, my mom did this.
And like eventually, I mean, like we had a jump scene, but we
Right.
then found out exactly what it was. Mind you, this is the same thing that y'all did something illegal to get the evidence from Drew's
Mhm.
like safe, and you're talking about it with the commissioner's granddaughter in public.
An active murder case that something she did that's currently happening. She's going to tell the commissioner's daughter who is investigating that same case. That, yeah, not smart at all.
Ridiculous.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we also see Portia basically telling Isaiah that while it was good, they can't do it again because of Trina, because of whatever. And Isaiah
What?
was like, "Girl, call me."
Yeah. And not only that, we now hear Curtis talk about, well, we got to pretend like we're in a good relationship now. Oh, really? Don't. Oh, I'm
Don't
like,
want to see
no,
it.
do not. I'm hoping Portia is like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I
Hate
might
it.
not. I'll stay married to you so I don't have to testify, but no, we're not going to be in a strong relationship. Our relationship isn't strong. Too many people have seen that. It would have been like unbelievable.
Exactly.
It's definitely even more unbelievable to me than it is to have Sonny and Carly be together as an alibi.
Though I will say, no matter my feelings about Stephen A. Smith,
It
seeing Brick and Carly flirting while Sunny was in the background, peak,
was
peak GH.
hilarious.
So
Sonny's
funny.
like, "Don't you got something to do? Like, what's going on?" He's like, I'm not
So
gonna sit here.
funny.
I'm not gonna sit here and let y'all flirt with each other in front of me. That's not gonna happen. That's
So funny. I love it. I am such a fan of like Sunny, Carly, Jason in relationship with each other. So
yeah.
let's actually move to Spy Hospital because I want your opinion. So I want to stick a pin in so that we don't forget out because I want to go through it and I want to come back to how you feel about the Jason Anna conversation, comparing like the WSB to Sunny. So let's stick a pin
Mhm.
in that. But going to Spy Hospital, we have Jocelyn still tied up with Vaughn. And then we have Britt who has a bomb on her leg. Now it was interesting because at the end of last week, like we see Jason seeing something and we didn't know for sure if it was Britt. So I was like, oh my God, did he see Nathan? Did he see this? Did he see that? Turns out he just saw Britt.
Yeah.
And Britt can't leave because she has this bomb that will like blow up if she like leaves the lab.
Mhm.
She says to him, Jocelyn is here. Like after all this stuff, and then when
Yeah.
he heard Jocelyn was there, he made a beeline for her.
That was
She
funny.
got mad about it, but I was confused because I was like, I can't imagine that even beyond Jocelyn being Carly's daughter, she doesn't understand what Jocelyn means to Jason.
Mm.
Like Jocelyn's his goddaughter.
Yeah.
So
I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm picking my goddaughter over you.
For me, her constantly bringing up Carly, even though everything she's saying is true, was annoying. Just because
Yeah.
I am team Carly and I'm team Carly and Jason being best friends for life. I'm
Yes.
team that, not team them being in a relationship. Just them being 100% loyal to each other, 100% best
Correct.
friends, whatever. She needs, I'm just like, she just needs to get over that. Britt does. And for her to be like all salty about and bringing up Carly's name every single time, I'm like, how insecure are you? I don't, I mean, it's just like, I don't like it was, I don't know. I didn't like it. I was just like, girl, he is here for you. Jason Morgan does not travel across the country just for anybody. He did not know Joss was there. You're the
He
one
came
who
in for
said
you.
it. He came here for you. So you should not be insecure about Carly at this point. And then it's not the first time that he traveled across the world to rescue somebody for you. He's done it before. That's how he got himself killed, quote unquote killed. So, um, her still sticking to the whole, well, dump me for Harley. Yes, he did it, but he came back to you once it became clear that Sonny was back. So I don't know what
Right.
more she needs to know to understand that he actually cares about you. I don't know what you need to hear. But yeah, Joss is also important to him as part of that whole family dynamic. And so she's got a lot to get over, and Jason is being super patient with her, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
And it was also like she didn't even want him to touch the bomb. So what are we really talking about here?
Yeah.
I
First
think
of
that
all,
part of, oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, first of all, she's mad that he goes and leaves. Then when he comes back for you, you don't want him to do anything.
Well, she didn't want him to do it before that. Because
Yeah.
before she even told him about Jocelyn, she's like, okay, you possibility, oh, I realize that we have bad reception or whatever it is. So she didn't even
Uh,
want, she's like, do you know how to do this? She was doing all of that before he even came back for her.
mhm,
I do think that there's something they're doing with Brit where they're trying to balance out with her, like as you alluded to, when she left, she wasn't a Britch anymore.
mhm,
She was dying from Huntington. She was, a respected doctor. She was the kind of doctor whose picture went on the wall. You know what I mean? Who got like a whole send-off birthday party that everybody came to on the Haunted Star. That
mhm,
is who she was. And so they are trying to like essentially revert her back to what that was because that is who they need on the show right now. They don't
mhm,
need Britt, the chief of staff. They need the Britch. And
mhm,
so it's tough because it has not been that long that we have seen her be different to like now have her come back and be the Bridge. And also, Jason doesn't really know the
the
Bridge.
bridge, right?
Like Jason doesn't know that version of her. He was already fake dead when that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it is entertaining, but also a little bit of, I mean, I understand not wanting her to be like a boring character. They really
Mhm,
do seem like they are working to have more like shades of gray character on the show, which is really good because before we weren't really having that. But
mhm,
it is annoying to see what they are allowing these shades to be because the
mhm,
jealousy of Carly does not make sense to your
mhm,
point when he came here to save you.
mhm.
They also have Jocelyn and Vaughn tied up and they're trying to talk their way out of it. I know. I kind of laughed when he was like, you're in violation of the Geneva Convention, buddy. Okay. All right, Vaughn, please. Nobody cares. Get out of here. But like, we have obviously like Pascal coming back, putting the bomb on Britt like on a timer and saying that he was gonna blow her up. We still don't know who she works for, but we do know that Britt does not believe the person that she worked for would allow her to be killed. So that is something,
Mhm,
and that's the assumption that it's probably like some version of Nathan,
mhm.
or whatever. Um, and then we have Jason like bust in like a superhero, but somehow needs to be saved by Joss. The rolling of your eye.
Oh, that whole thing. I don't know. And part of my reaction is because of what happened on Friday. But I'm just like, I'm so through
Every time the
Spy
thumbs up.
Hospital.
Every time
I'm
Spike
just,
Hospital comes up, you like instinctively
I'm,
roll your eyes like this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
it is. I'm just like, I'm so over it. Like, I don't care.
It's not it ain't it's not giving.
Not
It's just
giving at
not.
all.
It's not. It's not. Um so we um I'm sorry. Anyway, so Josh saves Jason and they have like an exchange about her being in the WSB.
Mhm.
Um, she like is running off. Jason goes back to save Britt. I could have vibrated out of my seat when she was like, "You." Britt was like, "You need to leave for your kids," and Jason was like, "I wouldn't be any use to my kids if you died." Who said that?
Right.
Who said that? Like, I was for real in Desperate House. Who said that? Why would you not be? I get it. I get what they were trying to do to be like, look at Britt being unselfish and look at Jason being romantic, but I am so sorry. In this situation, it is not romantic to have Jason like possibly leave Danny orphaned.
First
Look,
of all, the sentence doesn't make sense because you're like, I wouldn't be of any use to my kids if you had died. You did not know she was alive for the past 2 years, and you were definitely of use to your kids. Don't be saying shit like that. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
I just, hmm. I know that Sam is my girl. So
Right.
I feel really strongly about Scout and I feel very strongly about Danny. Period. I
Mhm.
know that's a blind side for me. That's like I see things framed through them. When he was like essentially okay with possibly leaving Danny orphaned, I could have jumped through that screen and slapped the taste out of Jason Morgan's mouth. Because what are you talking about?
Right. Now, you had made a promise to Danny that you would be there for him, that you would never leave him, all this other stuff. So to say that line was like total betrayal to Danny, your own son,
Yeah.
over some woman who pretended to be dead in the first place, didn't want you in her life, you know.
Particularly because like Jake is gonna be okay. Jake got Elizabeth. Jake is tramping around Europe with his other fake daddy, Lucky. Jake is
Yeah.
gonna be okay. You've been dead and fake dead and come back and all that for Jake. He ain't tripping.
Yeah.
Danny, quiet as kept, the Danny's next of kin.
Mhm.
Unless I mean, who knows? Maybe Jason did like a will or something. But Drew can make a case to be Danny's next of kin.
Mhm. If Drew cared about kids, but he don't.
I mean, he to be petty, he could.
Oh yeah. He would. And he would do something like that just to be evil.
So I was floored. But
Yeah.
anyway, they make it out. The place blows up. Britt makes some kind of like it looks like she's gonna tell him something like emotional, and she just tells him she hates his tattoos. They end up on a plane, and she's still talking about Carly. She's still mad. She's still whatever. Um, I did laugh when she asked for money.
They're like, can I have $20 for a cash?
As a matter of fact, actually, I like to tip. Actually, how much cash do you have? I was like, I think this might be the most I've ever liked Brit because also same. Like, how much money do you have? I would like that all of it. Thank you.
No,
Um,
I liked Britt the most in the hospital, and her exchange with Lulu was cracking me.
I I feel so torn by that because I hate Lulu so much, but also Brit was tripping.
She was
So
driven. I mean, it was like when, okay, go ahead and do the recap because
yeah. Well, let's then go to because we'll converge them.
yeah.
So w- earlier this week, we find out that the reason that Scout wasn't at summer camp is because New Charlotte, picked her
Hmm.
up and took her to the Quartermains. When Lulu finds out, she's like, "Oh my God, you're grounded." Now, I'm not mad at her grounding her because there is something around like you gotta understand, you gotta take responsibility. I'm not mad at that part of it.
Mhm.
The way she went so hard was extra. So first she starts and she's like, "Well, you're impulsive, you're this, you're that. We know where you get that from." So you don't talk to your daughter about how she feels about not being with her daddy, but you badmouthing her daddy?
Right. That's bad parenting.
Terrible parenting. And Lulu, we also know that she gets some of that from you too.
Yep.
Like, do you talk about that's the Spencer part? You talk about Luke? Like, girl, get out of here. So that happens. And so she is like doing all these punishments for her. And I saw somebody on Twitter say something like, I don't know if people are mad about Lulu like punishing Charlotte. This is the same punishment that she gave Rocco. What Charlotte and Rocco did were not the same things. And as a matter of fact, so Lulu reached back into her back pocket and talked about like the snake situation with Ava. I did love Charlotte being like that was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But she is like trying to retroactively punish and parent the 17-year-old.
Mhm.
No, babes, that's not how it works. Not the 17-year-old who's been on the run, has raised herself, and has done all these things. That's not actually not how it works.
Mhm.
So then we find that so much of it is really just about her being in competition, and it's all about me, 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 me. At the same time, she's doing all this punishment for Charlotte. She's also talking about Rocco. Just like all of it is happening. So we're seeing this me, me, me of how she feels. Jack Brennan is trying to get Charlotte to go see Valentine at Steinmauer. He talks to Lulu, who says no. How did you like? I'm gonna pause there. How did you feel about that piece before we even get into the Nina and Carly of it all? How did you feel about all of that?
Well, I think it was cool to see Valentine again.
Mm.
Um, and I thought it was interesting how they really just went quickly over the fact that they had beef. That, that Brennan was trying to kill Valentine, and that's why he's in jail now. And that, Brennan got away with a whole bunch of stuff in terms of what was that group?
Oh, Piper.
Pikeman. Yeah, he got away with all the Pikeman and stuff, and Valentine got blamed and all this other stuff. I thought was they just kind of blew over that. But it was still an interesting conversation. It doesn't shock me that Valentine wants to see his daughter. Um, and yeah, I don't like how Lulu's trying to prevent that from happening. And I thought it was interesting that Brennan kind of threatened her and was like, you're going to need me. You're going to need the WSB because Charlotte is in it now. Like, you can't avoid that. You're going to need protection. Like, we're protecting her now. I mean, not like it's not visible, but I don't see how they're actually protecting her, but whatever. So to kind of just, use Charlotte as a pawn to Valentine is his behavior. I'm not sure that the WSB does that on a normal, using children to get to other to get what they want, but that's definitely what he's doing. And it's what he's used to doing. He did it with Joss, now he's doing it with Charlotte, which is crazy. Um, so yeah, it's a little that all of that is wild. On the one hand, I understand Lulu wanting to protect her child, but to keep her away from Valentine is just seems wrong to me just because we're used to Valentine and Charlotte having like such a strong relationship. And so anybody wanting to disrupt that just doesn't seem right to me. But on the other hand, Valentine is a criminal. It's very much, yeah, it's a lot, but I'm still just pro Valentine, so I don't like that Lulu's doing. And so but I don't also don't
Yeah,
like what Jack is doing to also kind of manipulate that relationship either. So I just right now at this point, I want Jack to be found out. I think everybody needs to know what he's doing, and all the women in his life need to dump him.
Yeah, so I will say that it's hard for me because I've had incarcerated loved ones who have always visited and always taken the kids to visit them and all of that.
Yeah,
So I always have to like remember that that's like the framework, right? That I go
yeah,
to, that like just because somebody is like in jail does not mean that
yeah,
that you do like disrupt relationships. So
yeah.
I understand Lulu's point of like Valentine's a terrorist. Like I'm actually not. Um I am not as like pro Valentine as like some people are. Like I think that he's
Mm-hmm.
done really messed up things, and
Mm-hmm.
like there's like ways that he would need to like fix that, or either not be. All right, let me break up. Let me back up. I think that they did the same thing with Valentine they did with Brit. That they really
Mm-hmm.
broke Valentine down, similar to what they
Mm-hmm.
did to Ava, and turned him
Mm-hmm.
into a different character, like that he was not evil, that he was not really Cassadine in that way. If you remember, I one of my favorite scenes actually that always made me laugh was when he took the kids out trick-or-treating. This is right before Charlotte got shot. And he was like,
Yeah,
your parents are gonna be mad at me if I do whatever. Like it was so normal. It
yeah,
was such like a dad moment. That is
yeah,
what they turned him into. He was co-parenting with Laura. Like he was a dad, and he was like in love with Anna, and there might have been some shady spy stuff happening because it's who they are, but it wasn't the definition of their character. And so when they flipped him back into being this other character that is like shady and would like use Anna and would do all of these things, that makes sense that Lulu would not want Charlotte around that person. So for me, I see both sides of it until you remember that Charlotte's 17. She's living on her own, lived on her own. I went to college at 17. Charlotte, for all intents and purposes, is grown,
mm-hmm.
especially with the life that she's lived. And so instead
Mm-hmm.
of like talking with her and figuring out, like, you actually can't punish her like Rocco. Rocco has not lived the life that Charlotte has lived. You actually need to like be more creative in your parenting and your guidance and in your talking to her. So I do think she should let her see Valentine, and I think that the reason that it is like she's still in some kind of competition which she like named. Like he's still
Mm-hmm.
winning. Lisa, I didn't think I was gonna have to share. She's lost
Mm-hmm.
so much time parenting her kids that it is becoming more about her than it is about them. And that is
Mm-hmm.
some of the problem I have with like the way she's doing this thing with Valentine.
Right.
Now, I can also understand with Brennan, he is clearly trying to use her. This is not like a Steinmauer's not a place where you get visitors, right? Like it's
Right.
not like a normal prison or jail or whatever. So there is something about I'm trying to use your baby and this visit to get these state secrets that also would feel a little yucky to me. So I'm all over the place with it. The only
Mm-hmm.
place where I'm really landing is that Lulu is a very bad parent. Like, that's where I've landed. I'm so sorry, not sorry to Lulu fans. She's got to
Yeah.
figure it out. It's very selfish. It's very, all of the things.
Yeah.
Um,
And I believe Carly is right. Like as soon as as soon as Charlotte finds out that you knew that her dad wanted to see her and you kept that from happening, it's going to be a problem.
mhm.
And Charlotte acts out when she feels wrong. So she might want to be careful. Like I don't know that yeah, Lulu knows everything that Charlotte did right to get Anna so paranoid, does she?
Wait, say
She
that
knows
again?
that. So Lulu knows that Anna shot Charlotte, but she doesn't
Yes.
know all of the behavior beforehand, does she?
It feels like she did because she did name a little bit of
Yeah.
like to
So
Charlotte.
she,
She said
yeah.
something about it.
So
Yeah.
she should be careful about, keeping like her dad away from her because all the things that Charlotte did when Helena told her that Anna was trying to keep her from Valentine, she should be
Yeah.
careful about that because, it wasn't Helena, it was Victor, right?
Yeah,
Victor.
it was Victor. Yeah.
But yeah, I still want Helena to be back.
Me too. I also think, and I wouldn't mind Victor being back. I also
Right.
think that like I appreciated the maturity of the conversation that Charlotte had with Rocco when she checked Brennan, and then she told Rocco like, "You live in a world of black and white, right or wrong.
All
Brennan
right.
is out here being like in charge of things, and he is not better than my dad."
Right. Like
And I
that.
think that
I
that's the
thought it was
other piece of it.
that was actually a fun conversation where both of them were like, we gotta manage our mom in different ways because
Hmm.
she ain't the best mother. So I like
Yeah.
Rocco's like, I gotta manage her in terms of Liesel, and you gotta manage her in terms of Valentine, which
Yeah,
is interesting. Yeah.
which is also very typical for being a teenager. Like, who
Yeah.
amongst us does not manage a parent? But I think that like, but I think for me, it's the like selfishness of like the me, me, me. I don't want to be in competition with people. I don't actually
Right.
care what's best for my kids in this way. I'm gonna parent them in this very generic way. Like, it
Yeah.
just to me was like, yikes and yuck. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, Outback goes missing. Because part of Charlotte's punishment is to watch him. Um, Rocco comes back, he hits like his head on a branch or something. And he needs stitches. Lisa, he calls Lulu. Lisa takes him to the hospital. Lulu and Dante show up to the hospital. And when Dante came, I was like, what are we doing? Why would Dante need to be here for stitches when he's at work? Especially if like he's okay. They can't even go in the exam room with him. Like, what are
Yeah.
we talking about? Um, but we see and we find that the reason that all happened is so they could all be at the hospital at the same time.
Mhm.
Because the other person who came was Nina, because Nina went to go speak to Lulu on behalf of like Brennan and Charlotte and all of that. So we find
Mhm.
out that Nina and Charlotte are still supposedly close, even though we didn't know that. So we find out they are supposedly close. We also find out that Nina is just as obsessed with Carly as Britt is. Like she asked Jack about Carly like 10 times. What would Carly say about us being together? Well, Carly and Lulu are cousins. Well, what did like? I was like, please do not allow Nina and Britt to be obsessed about Carly together. I don't want to see it. So they're at the hospital. Britt just like saunters in like she was late for a shift.
Like she's always been alive and she's just gonna re-up her meds.
Wild. Um, Liz sees her, Obrick sees her, and passes out.
Ah, hilarious.
Uh, um, when Obrick wakes up, all of a sudden Britt gets so concerned because she finds out that Rocco's in the hospital, and she calls him Ben and says, "God forbid the kid I brought into this world gets a glimpse at me." I'm
I
gonna
was like,
pause. That was a lot of plot. How do you feel? Oh, my hair is so tight. Sorry.
oh no, I mean, I thought it was comedy. I was like, girl, it's wild because how you just gonna care? First of all, how you just gonna call him Ben, and then second, care that he's in the hospital when last time you were in town, you gave him a no thought. But
None.
they're really trying to kind of rewrite a little bit because I mean they sowed the seeds of that when she was at the Five Poppies looking at photos or online and just looking at them. And then now we're supposed to believe that she's always been thinking about Rocco or Ben, which I don't believe. So it was just funny. It was hilarious that she said it, especially to Lulu. Like knowing, I feel like she knew that was gonna get a rise out of Lulu, and so it was funny to me. Um, and she was ear hustling a conversation that she wasn't even in because Lulu was whispering to Elizabeth, "Hey, can you make sure that Rocco doesn't get out of his stitches right away so he doesn't see Britt. And Liz was like, sure. But all of a sudden, you know, Britt hears it and was like, what? Ben's in the hospital? I'm like, girl, stop. But at the same time, so I thought it was comedy. It was a great kind of entrance of the Britch going directly to General Hospital. That's like that's her literally her first stop when she's back in Port Charles. So it was funny. I mean, she could have perceivably said, "I came to General Hospital because I wanted to see my mom." But no, she could have waited. She could have just been at home or called somebody and been like, "Hey, you guys, I'm back in town," instead of making a big entrance into General Hospital. So
Well,
I
she
think
didn't
it was
know that
great.
Lisa was there. She didn't know that
Well,
Lisa was
no,
there.
but
Yeah.
I'm just saying she could have pretended. I mean, that could have been her excuse instead of going to General Hospital, she could have went to a hotel or done
Anything.
something,
But she
anything.
had the
But she
money.
could go, yeah, that's right. So
I mean, I will say because I want to be really clear that I don't like Lulu. I've never liked Lulu since
yeah.
2005 or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and I just can't abide by people pretending like what she did to Britt or what Britt did to Lulu and Dante wasn't extremely foul. It's
Right.
one thing to say, I don't care. I'm fine with you not caring because, my face do stuff. I don't care either. She did it.
Yeah.
Now what? Carly, she did it.
Hmm.
She's done many, many foul things, and I don't care because it's my fave.
Hmm.
But what I personally am not doing is trying to explain to you, unless I really believe it, why this like was okay thing to do. So like when Carly kidnapped Cyrus's mom, I will tell you that why that was okay. That was nice kidnapping. She went to spy kidnapping. She got a private nurse. But I will not say that it was okay that she like lied about Nina being Willow's mom. I just didn't agree. I
Right.
didn't, I didn't care. I don't care. But I'm not
Yeah.
like gonna tell you why that's a good like okay thing that she did. In the same breath, um, I personally just feel really strongly that what Britt did to Lulu and Dante was foul. You were
Hmm.
their trusted doctor. You took their embryo, you implanted it, and then you told them they could not have children. Which
Yeah.
is
It
why
was foul.
it also makes it tough to then have to hear that Portia might not be able to like have her medical license after Britt was the chief of staff at the hospital where she did that mess with that, did that mess with Ed.
Hmm.
It's- like it just where are we? What are we talking about? Who gets held accountable? Who gets in trouble? What is the thing?
Hmm.
So them, I feel like them not wanting Rocco to have a relationship with Liesel, with Britt, with that family, to me, is really different than the relationship between Valentine and Charlotte. It's not,
Oh
I,
yeah,
I
it's
just,
totally different. Like
they're
they
not
have
related to you.
they're not related. She did this horrible thing. I don't know why Rocco seems to feel that Britt imparted something on him when she was literally just, well, not just, but she was a surrogate. There are no genetic anything being shared between her and the kid when she's as a surrogate. So yeah, I don't know why they feel or why Liesl keeps insisting that Rocco is her grandchild, even though during this week she said, we're not really related when she was talking to Charlotte, but still she calls him by that. I think it's like trying to insinuate a relationship that shouldn't actually be there, especially when Liesl kidnapped Rocco before they can get Rocco back when the whole reveal was made. So both Liesel and Brett are wrong in this insistence that they should have a relationship with Rocco. I think they have no right to a relationship with Rocco. And for Rocco to seek that out, I don't understand it either, but that's the story.
And it also is really silly considering like Rocco's like standing next to Charlotte and how Charlotte came
Uh,
about and was born. it's
Right.
even sillier for Rocco to feel that way. And I have a little bit
Hmm.
more of, I guess, like a soft spot for Liesel wanting to be in a relationship with him when she was
Hmm.
grieving Brit, because
Hmm.
that was like a made up connection that she made up in her grief. But
Hmm.
like you said, the last time that Brit was in town, she was not trying to be around Rocco.
Right.
She called him Ben a couple times for good measure just to be petty, but she was not obsessed with this kid. We did not see her watching him grow up. The person that we saw her in relationship with was Spencer.
Yep.
So, and then to have Lulu even try to throw in a jab at Brooklyn when she's like, we have to tell Rocco, oh, well, unless Brooklyn tells him first. Girl, ain't nobody thinking of Brooklyn not thinking about you.
Right. Exactly. So that was just a petty comment, and Dante called that out. Well, he didn't call it
He just
out, but
looked
he
at
had
her.
a
He was
look.
disgusted.
It was like really? Yeah.
So anyway, Liesel takes Britt home. And or they go to Nina's house, like she's gonna be living with Nina now. And when Lisa finds out that Britt apparently like got approached and didn't want, so she did say Jocelyn that was real, but her dying was fake. When Lisa found that out, she slapped the taste out of her mouth, and I was okay with it.
I was okay with it too. But at the same time, Bert's like, I am who you raised. So,
Sure.
yep. So there's that.
Yeah. Um, We also finally, last thing, apparently Jocelyn and Vaughn went to Australia. They were surfing, sleeping together, which ugh, hate it. And
Hate
Brennan
it.
shows up and gets the rundown on what happened. He catches them in bed together.
Just wild. Wild. I'm like, what is up with GH all of a sudden putting couples together so fast? They did it with Portia and Isaiah, which I wasn't mad at, but I just, it did a double take because it just happened so quickly. And then the next thing here is Jocelyn and Brennan together, like
Vaughn,
sorry, Vaughn together just so quickly. It was just like, ugh. And they kind of explained it as, well, we were in a life or death situation and we're just trying to catch. I'm like, no, no, no. Like Tara calls him Timu Dex. I don't believe in Vaughn as a character. He's a horrible spy. And Joss next to him was just like, ugh, no. Like when they were explaining to like when Brennan was yelling at them and they were just standing there looking at each other, like, y'all are so unprofessional as spies. You're horrible. It's comedy. It's not good.
I'm
It's
not a
eye
fan
rolling.
of it. I don't like it. I think that he is too old for her. I don't care what anybody says to me about it. I think he's too
Uh,
old for her. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think they have chemistry, even though chemistry is subjective. So if you like it, I love it. And I think that he's a Dex dupe, and we didn't need him when we could have had
mhm.
Dex back.
Yep.
A cheap dupe at that. So
That's
there was
why.
just
That's
no,
why. Yeah, that's why it's called Timu Dex and versus
yeah.
Nordstrom Dex because he's
Yeah. Yeah, I was on
yeah.
TikTok trying to look for dupes, and as I was looking at them, I was like, "Oh, this is what Vaughn is of Dex, a dupe." And
Mhm.
so there's no reason for it. The story's not
Mhm.
interesting. They're not interesting. The spying's not interesting. None of that. And so then we finally have this conversation with Anna and Jason, and Jason comes in hot. He's mad. Carly's there. He dismisses Carly and is like mad that Anna used him. And
Mhm.
I did not like Anna comparing her going into the WSB to to Jason working for
And
Sun.
funny, yeah, that was actually not a very good comparison. Um, yeah, because I think there's the thing is Anna feels like she was manipulated by the WSB. Jason was not manipulated. He knew what he was getting into. He knew how Sunny valued Jason in a different way or treated him in a different way than the Quartermaines did. It was a totally different situation. And so I totally understand why Jason was mad at that comparison. It just it wasn't a good comparison in my mind.
I if this was 30 years ago or whenever Jason got into the mob, like, and we were making these comparisons, I
Right.
wouldn't even necessarily be mad at it. But we have been too long in it, and Jason's a grown man,
Right.
um, who has made his own decisions, and we have seen the like no matter what people think about the cornerstone
Hmm.
relationship of this show, Jason and Sunny is a cornerstone relationship. And so we
Hmm.
have Anna doing this like whole thing to like justify that she is like doesn't care for Sunny, doesn't like Sunny, doesn't respect Sunny, but she has this like friendship, relationship, whatever with Jason. I'm not trying to hear it. You can rewrite the WSB because the WSB hasn't been in our face for all these years. I'm really not trying to see you rewrite Sunny and Jason. I'm not. I'm really not. And so it does make me wonder if we're gonna see a little bit of that with like Monica's passing, if it is gonna be like Jason like reconsidering, like I we can say whatever, but we also saw Jason doing this mess for bread. So it's not as
Hmm.
if just being a mobster is the reason that Jason like picks all these things over his family. This is what Jason
Hmm.
does. He runs into burning buildings.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and apparently he promised Jocelyn he wasn't going to tell Carly about the WSB.
Yeah, that
Boo.
must have been offline.
Right. That's it. Is there anything else that you have for hot takes?
Um, no. Oh, I did have a like one thing. So we
Okay.
didn't really talk about it, but Professor Dalton and Emma they meet up in a coffee shop
Mhm.
and supposedly the whole reason or whatever secret thing that's happening with Professor Dalton is supposed to be revealed next week. But Emma in the coffee shop pressed him was like, "What's the secret?" And he's all there's sheep milk in the latte. And the first thing I heard with that was just like, ew. Like, ew, he's like, that's what makes it taste so good. I was like, that sounds nasty. Does not sound good at all. So that was my hot. I was like, ew. Y'all know
Uh,
I don't drink coffee. So the idea of putting sheep's milk in coffee just sounds gross.
Understood. I took notes this week, so I have a few things. I was glad Cody didn't tell Scout that what her
Mhm.
dad did was the right thing. When Scout was like, "Why would my dad do this?" Cody was just like, "Sometimes adults make mistakes." It wasn't like, and it wasn't over the top like your dad's an asshole because like obviously we don't want her to hear that, but it wasn't like he did the right thing. So I appreciate it. I was like, "Oh, okay, I see Cody,"
Mhm.
and Molly said Cody can call her for the registry, but don't call her another time. So you know, um. I loved Valentine, his opening lines of Brennan when he said, "You're lucky you caught me at home." Valentine,
That
brother, please.
was funny.
Um, I love that Sonny is not a suspect for the murder because they said it seems like a professional hit and Jason was out of town. Thought that was hilarious. We find out Colette worked for Cesar Faison. So we did hear about Faison's brain being in a jar. So I'm curious as like this Nathan thing happening. Like, is Nathan gonna have Faison's brain? Like, what's about to be happening with this? We'll see. Um, I love when Alexa said to Ava, I see the light bulb going off over your horns because we have Ava and Christina writing letters or not letters, emails to all of Rick's like loved ones, basically Molly and Elizabeth, to say that he's on a silent retreat with no technology. Okay. I said Michael is setting up shop at the Port Charles Grill. He be at that set. That is where Michael be at.
Hmm.
Um, I loved when Colette went, not Colette, sorry, when our sex worker, beloved Jacinda, went to Portia and was trying to blackmail her, and Portia was just like, no.
Yeah, I thought that was really great because Portia was like, yeah, because we were all, I think maybe it was Tara's podcast where she's like, she's tired of Portia being blackmailed by everybody. And
Hmm.
so Portia was like, yeah, no, not you. Mm-mm.
No,
If
not
you
you.
blackmail me, no, no, not you. But I'm just like, not again.
Yeah, no,
Portia
like
was just
you
like,
blackmailing me.
yeah, like she's like, first of all, if you do, that means you're gonna get in trouble for whatever she did, all the things, blackmail
Hmm.
and prostitution and all of that. And oh no, for spiking his drink. Yeah, she would get in trouble.
Yeah, she's an
So
assault.
salt, yeah, so it wouldn't work. So
Yeah,
shout
I
out to
love.
Portia standing up for herself.
And when she kicked her out because she tried, the girl was like, "Oh, you're the boss." Da, 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 da. And Portia was like, "I gotta go." Women in charge and all of that. I
Yeah.
cackled. Um, yeah, I think that might be it. Oh, Portia says she found respite in Isaiah's arms. I know that's right. And those are all my hot takes that I didn't go over. Okay. I know we gotta head out. So
Okay.
for next week, previews, Monday, Britt and Obrick have it out. Anna receives new evidence. Harley expresses her hurt. Drew manipulates Martin. Marco confronts Sidwell.
Mm,
Tuesday, Nina snaps. Molly confides in Elizabeth. Christina encourages Cody. Lucas opens up to Ava. Emma and Gio get distressing news. We forgot to talk about how Elizabeth told um, Lucas not to reach out to Brad to tell him about Britt. I'm like, Liz, you still be talking to Rick.
mhm,
Ain't really too much that Brad has done that's worse than Rick, if we be honest. Anyway, Thursday, Jason delivers somber news. Chase and Dante compare notes.
mm,
Cody is taken aback. Britt has a scratchy encounter. Okay. Um, Kai makes an alarming realization. I'm sorry, that was Wednesday.
yeah.
Thursday, Britt swallows her pride. Gio asks Sunny for a favor. Tracy and Jason share a moment of connection. Charlotte
Mhm,
confides in Lulu. Molly keeps a secret. And finally, Friday, Lulu helps an accident victim. Jason voices his regret. Elizabeth delivers bad news to Drew. This must be Monica passing. Danny issues a plea. Gio comes through for Emma. Yeah, I bet you it's Monica passing, and I bet you Danny asked Drew to like let Scout be with
Well,
the family.
it sounded to me like the Monica's passing is happening either Tuesday or Wednesday because
Yeah,
Jason and Tracy having a moment, Jason delivers somber news. So sounds like that's
yeah,
happening on Wednesday. But yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna happen finally. There's a lot of people
yeah,
just been like asking, when is this gonna happen? It's happening, y'all. So
yeah,
yay or
yeah.
no yay.
The somber news is it's
Hmm.
interesting that Drew is going to be so estranged from Monica when she dies.
Mm,
So,
well.
all right, y'all. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you are an audio listener, please come subscribe to us on YouTube just so we can run those numbers up. Ain't you proud to beg? And I was going to the TLC earlier. That's why I said that. Elder millennial over here. Um,
Yeah.
you can also get merch in the at our shop. You can also buy us a coffee. All is appreciated, and we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.